Life can change in a single moment. For me, that moment came 8 years ago when I was driving to work on a regular Tuesday morning. One second I was thinking about an upcoming meeting. The next I was waking up in a hospital bed, surrounded by beeping machines and worried faces. The doctor told me I'd been hit by a delivery truck and had been unconscious for 3 days. But that wasn't the worst part. My lower body was paralyzed, and they weren't sure if I'd ever walk again. I was 38 years old, with 2 young kids, a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. My wife's reaction to the news was something I'll never forget. She didn't say much, just stared at the floor and left the room. Looking back, that should have been my first warning sign. The first few weeks, she brought our kids to visit 3 times a week. Those visits were what kept me going. But gradually, they became less frequent. When I asked about it, she'd say the kids were busy with school activities or weren't feeling well. I started noticing how she'd check her phone constantly during visits, how she'd make excuses to leave early. Then came the divorce papers. Just 6 weeks after my accident, while I was still in the hospital. "I can't spend my life with someone in a wheelchair," she said. "I'm too young for this. I need a normal life." Those words cut deeper than any surgical knife. Through my friends, I learned she'd been seeing someone else, a wealthy businessman in his mid-50s who'd been divorced multiple times. Some said their relationship started even before my accident. I'll never know the truth, but it doesn't matter now. I was devastated, not just emotionally, but financially too. The accident had drained my savings, and I had no income. The insurance covered most of the medical bills, but I was left with nothing. At 38, I had to move back in with my mother, who ran a small flower shop in the suburbs. When I tried to see my kids after being discharged, I discovered my wife had moved in with her new partner. She wouldn't let me see them, threatening legal action if I persisted. I couldn't afford a lawyer to fight for custody. My mother's small flower shop income barely covered our basic needs. The darkest moment came when I learned they were moving to another city. I rushed to see my kids one last time, but they were already gone. My wife had full custody, and with her wealthy partner's resources, there was nothing I could do. Those early days at my mother's house were the hardest. I was broken, wheelchair-bound, and completely dependent on my 65-year-old mother. But she never complained. Instead, she taught me about her flower business, showed me how to arrange bouquets, and handle customers. Slowly, I started seeing potential in the business. My mother had regular customers, but no web presence, no corporate clients. I began reaching out to my old business contacts, securing contracts with wedding planners and event organizers. We started small, providing flowers for local events, then expanded to full venue decorations. The work gave me purpose, something to focus on besides my losses. My hands grew stronger even as my legs remained useless. Each successful event brought new clients, and gradually, we built a reputation. But every night, I'd look at the old photos of my kids and wonder if they even remembered me. Little did I know that life was about to take another unexpected turn, one that would eventually lead me back to my children, but not before teaching me more lessons about love, betrayal, and the true meaning of family. 4 years after my accident, I met her at a wedding we were decorating. She was the interior designer for the venue, and we kept running into each other while setting up. At first, we just talked about work, color schemes, and flower arrangements. But soon our conversations turned personal. She was a single mom with a 5-year-old daughter. She'd been working in event management for years and knew the industry inside out. When I mentioned my plans to expand the flower business, she suggested starting an event management company together. She had the contacts, I had the flower supply chain. It made perfect sense. We dated for a year before getting married. Her daughter accepted me immediately, always excited to help arrange flowers in the shop. My mother adored them both, finally having the granddaughter she'd always wanted. For the first time since my accident, I felt whole again. But I never stopped thinking about my kids. Every birthday, every Christmas, I tried to reach out, only to be blocked. My wife supported my search, helping me track down any leads about their whereabouts. Finally, after years of legal battles and now having a stable business, I won the right to see them for 2 weeks. When the day came to pick them up from the airport, I was terrified. My daughter was now 14, my son 12. Would they hate me? What had their mother told them about me? The first few hours were awkward. They barely spoke in the car, both glued to their phones. Their surprise at seeing my wife caught me off guard. Apparently, their mother hadn't mentioned my remarriage. They seemed confused, maybe even angry. That evening, their mother called, accusing me of tricking them by not telling them about my new family. I decided to tell them everything. How their mother had left me while I was still in the hospital. How she'd moved in with her wealthy partner within months. How I tried repeatedly to see them but was threatened with legal action. I showed them the old restraining orders, the rejected custody appeals. They cried when they heard the truth. My son admitted he'd once found me on social media, but their mother caught him and made him promise never to contact me again. They told me about living as outsiders in their stepfather's house, how he never married their mother despite promising to do so, how they were treated differently at family gatherings because their mother wasn't officially married to him. That 2-week visit changed everything. We went on a family vacation, and slowly, they opened up. They bonded with their stepsister, spent time helping in the flower shop, and got to know their grandmother. When they posted photos of us together online, their mother called them immediately, angry about their betrayal. But the biggest surprise was yet to come. While all this was happening, my lawyer was fighting an old battle, seeking compensation from the delivery company whose truck had hit me. After years of court proceedings, we finally won. The settlement was substantial, enough to secure my children's future education and more. That's when my ex-wife showed up at my office. She looked older, standing there in my office doorway. I hadn't seen her in 8 years, but I recognized her immediately. She started crying, saying she'd made a terrible mistake. She wanted forgiveness, wanted us to be a family again. Then she told me the truth about her relationship with the wealthy man. She'd become what she called a companion, someone who provides company in exchange for financial support. He'd had bad experiences with younger women stealing from him, so he'd chosen her, thinking a mother of 2 would be more reliable. He'd made it clear from the start that he'd never marry her. He just wanted someone to keep him company and look presentable at social events. In return, he'd pay for everything, the kids' education, their living expenses, vacations. She tried to justify her choices, saying she did it for our children's future. I couldn't hold back my anger. You could have given me a chance, I said. We could have figured something out together. Instead, you abandoned me when I needed you most. She kept talking about our past, our wedding, the kids' births, our early years together. But those memories felt like they belonged to someone else now. Then she crossed the line. She said my new wife and stepdaughter weren't my real family, that only she and our kids were. That made me realize she hadn't changed at all. She was still the same selfish person who'd left me in the hospital. I had to threaten to call security before she finally left my office. When I told my kids about their mother's visit, they weren't surprised. They'd seen her true colors over the years, how she'd choose money over dignity, how she'd manipulate situations to get what she wanted. They told me they were tired of living in her boyfriend's house, tired of the whispers and judgmental looks from his family. The final twist came when her wealthy companion found out about her visit to my office. He'd apparently made her promise never to contact me again, especially after hearing about my compensation settlement. He threatened to end their arrangement if she tried reaching out to me again. After all these years, money was still controlling her life. My kids moved in with us the following month. We enrolled them in a good school nearby, and they quickly made new friends. My son started helping in the event management business during weekends, showing a real talent for design. My daughter and her stepsister became inseparable, sharing clothes and secrets like they'd known each other forever. My mother watches all this with a quiet smile. She told me recently that everything happens for a reason. My accident, as terrible as it was, led me to rebuild my life, find true love, and eventually get my kids back. She was right, of course. Sometimes the worst moments in our lives lead us to the best ones. Today, my event management company is doing well. I still use a wheelchair, but it doesn't define me anymore. My wife and I are planning to open a second branch in the neighboring city. All 4 kids, because that's how I think of them now, are thriving. Even my ex-wife's attempts to cause drama have stopped, now that her wealthy companion has threatened to cut her off. Looking back at the past 8 years, I realize that life's greatest challenges often bring unexpected gifts. My accident cost me my legs, but it also showed me who truly cared about me. It took away my first family but led me to create a stronger, more loving one. Most importantly, it taught me that happiness doesn't come from being able to walk. It comes from having people to walk beside you, whether you're on your feet or in a wheelchair. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.